Hey, what's up y'all? My name's David and I want to welcome you to a new series that I'm going to be doing called David Brews. Check it out. So on this first video, what I want to do is give a quick tutorial and kind of review on one coffee and one brew method. I don't think all the videos are going to be split up that way. One might, the video might just be coffee, it might just be a brew method. But today we're doing both. We're doing one coffee and one brew method. Alright, so I got my filtered water boiling on the stove right now. Today the coffee we'll be using is Starbucks Thanksgiving blend. It's a dark roast. I believe it's a blend of Asia Pacific and Guatemalan coffees. Yeah, it looks like Papua New Guinea and Guatemala Antigua. This is a coffee they've had for a while. I remember when I first started at Starbucks, this was one of my favorite blends that they came out with in the holiday season. So we'll be trying that one. So today, the method we'll be using is an AeroPress. Comes with two pieces. You got the canister that holds your coffee and your water, and then your plunger. The AeroPress is, it's a good method to use, I think, at least in my opinion, when you're only wanting to make one cup of coffee at a time. It's somewhere between like a mix of a French press and an auto drip coffee, and so you're going to want to grind your coffee somewhere in between those two. A French press, typically you're going to want to grind your coffee pretty coarse, and an auto drip you're going to want to grind it somewhere medium, somewhere right down somewhere right down the middle. So let's go ahead. Water's heating up. Let's go ahead and grind our coffee. I normally use a hand grinder, a burr mill grinder. It's a little bit more work in the morning when you're trying to make your coffee, but I find that the flavor that you get from freshly ground coffee is far superior than either pre-ground coffee, like pre-ground from the store, or even if you were to buy it, grind the whole thing and then leave it in your cabinet. I would say within a couple hours your coffee's going to dry out, definitely within the course of an entire day. Your coffee's going to dry out, you're going to lose a lot of that oil that's in the beans, so you're going to lose a lot of flavor, a lot of aroma. So typically I tell people, if you're trying to make coffee at home and something better than just Maxwell House or Folgers, get some whole bean coffee and get a hand grinder, a burr mill grinder specifically. There's lots of other grinders that you can get from the store, Target, Walmart, stuff like that, Amazon. Typically what people have are those blade grinders. You plug them in, you push them down, and it spins it real fast. What it tends to do though is it heats the coffee up and burns up all that oil, so you're not getting that flavor, you're not getting that aroma, you're not getting that good mouthfeel from the coffee because all the oil's gone, you burned it up. So so I use the hand mill. My method of making coffee is pretty much the same every time. I tend to use a scoop, a 2 tablespoon scoop, and I'll use 2 scoops of this for 1 cup of coffee in the AeroPress. So you're talking 4 tablespoons total. So we've got our coffee in our grinder, and it's super simple. I mean, it is a little bit more work, but you just grind it up. You just spin it, and in a minute and a half, you're good. Alright, so our coffee's all ground up. Our water is at boiling at this point. So you're just going to want to dump your coffee in there. Tap it open, get all the residue. Alright, so now you've got 4 tablespoons of ground coffee, freshly ground coffee in your AeroPress. So in the bottom here, I guess I should have done this before, in the bottom here you have this attachment, and it's like a filter. It's got holes in it. You can buy paper filters. Here, let me grab them so you can see them. When you buy an AeroPress, it comes with a kit, and it comes with a couple things. You're going to get one of these holders for your filters. Mine came with a pack of 500. Actually, I think it came with 2 packs of 500. So I've had this AeroPress for a while, and I mean, I still have I still have filters. So you put the filter, the paper filter, inside the plastic filter, connect it, dump your coffee in there. All right, so now what we need to do is we need a cup. So we'll just grab a cup, got a Starbucks cup. And here, let me see if I can show y'all. All right, so maybe not the best angle in the world, but this is what we're gonna work with for now. So we've got the AeroPress on an empty cup. The AeroPress itself has markings on it. I don't know if you can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those are kind of guides to how much water you're gonna need to put in there. The AeroPress itself comes with a instruction manual that kind of gives you some quote-unquote recipes for making different kinds of coffee. It says that you can make espresso and stuff like that with it. I haven't been able to make a decent espresso with the AeroPress, and it's really just however you want to do it. It's all to taste. It's really not it's not a difficult thing to do. All right, so what I normally do is I put the water up to that where it says 2. I put water up to there, and what that's going to do, it's very similar to what you would do in a French press. It's called the bloom. Right now the water is mixing with the coffee and releasing all of those really good aromas. So what we want to do is we want to stir it up, make sure all the coffee is saturated with the water. Stir it up. And then we're going to add the rest of our water. And I usually take it up to the spot, the number 4 on the side of the AeroPress. So up to 2, stir it around, and then put the rest of your water up to 4, and you're going to get about 12 ounces of coffee. So then you add your press. I tend to let it sit. I like really dark coffee. I tend to let once the water's in there and the plunger's on there, I'll let it sit for 30 seconds, something like that. The pressure inside of the AeroPress with the plunger on top is going to keep your water inside of the AeroPress. Otherwise, if you didn't have the plunger on it, it would all just drain out the bottom, which is fine. But in this case, I want a little bit darker coffee. So I'll give it a little bit, and then all we got to do is push it down just like a French press. You want to make sure your cup is sturdy, and just push straight down. Right? Push that till you can't push anymore. I tend to give it a real good squeeze there at the bottom because I want all those oils, I want all of the coffee, all the goodness to come out and into the cup. So right there, we have our cup of coffee from an AeroPress. Alright, so that's it. Making an AeroPress, making coffee from an AeroPress is, I think, one of the simpler ways of making coffee. Just a quick cup of coffee in the morning, especially if it's just you, if it's just one person. You don't have to make a whole pot of coffee. You can make a real strong cup of coffee if you want. You can make it weaker too if you want. You would just then add less coffee beans, or coffee grounds rather. So I mean, this is my preferred way of making just one cup of coffee. Let's see. The Thanksgiving blend, like I said, is a dark roast. It's a blend of Asia Pacific coffees and Central American coffees. This particular blend contains Papua New Guinea, beans from Papua New Guinea, also from the Guatemala Antigua region. There's no flavors. It's not like a flavored coffee or anything like that. It's just a dark roast blend. I really like this coffee with things like pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, gingerbread cookies, really rich and even deep dark flavors inside of pastries. Chocolate croissants are really good with this, but even just like a bagel with butter is really good with it too. So if we're gonna taste it, I usually smell it first. You really get those dark, like deep loamy aromas off the top. It almost has, and this tasting coffee, smelling coffee is always very subjective. Some people will say that there's particular ways that you can describe the coffee. Honestly, I feel like whatever you smell, whatever you taste, then that's what you taste and that's what you smell. There's no wrong way of smelling or tasting coffee. Let's see. I tend to slurp the coffee out of the cup. A lot of people do it with a spoon just to get that initial like tasting. Spraying it back on your palate across your tongue is really great. It aerates the coffee in your mouth and releases a lot. It allows you to taste more of the coffee. Let's give it another taste. Yep, not very bitter. It's got a full mouthfeel. It's not like you're chewing something, but it's definitely not like drinking water. You can definitely tell that if you were blind or blindfolded and you had pins on your nose and you drank this coffee and it was like room temperature, you would know that it was you would know that it wasn't water. At least you would know that it. I feel like I would know that it was coffee. There's lots of spicy notes to it, not like pepper spice, but spices like cinnamon, those like holiday spices tend to come out when you taste these coffees. I feel like that's kind of the idea too, why they have them only come out certain types of year or certain times a year. It's strange. I kind of get a like a dark berry note on the very end, almost like a black currant, like a really deep dark fruit. It's not a fruity coffee by any means. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is on the very top of the tasting, I'm getting dark, earthy, spicy notes, and then on the back end when I swallow, yeah, it's like a dark, like a black currant flavor. It's really good. I love this coffee. Alright, so that's it. I hope you liked today's video. This is the first in a series of videos that I'm going to be posting. If you have any ideas or comments, just put them down in the comment section below. Really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day. Peace.